Well, we saw the banking community borrow hundreds of billions of dollars. And they all have problems, and they still do. Now, if they had problems and they had to have money to help solve those problems, then the banking community has the same problem on a small scale and a smaller scale, small banks, medium size. We'll probably all together over the next few years probably lose 3,000, maybe more banks. On the other hand, we have the insurance companies, and they're getting money too. I mean, the Hartford Group, they get money from $1 billion from the state of Connecticut, and then they get a couple of billion more from the government. And so, the money is flying all over the place. And a good part of it in every one of these industries, it's being looted one way or the other. And so, I think that the problems are being encountered by...
Bob, we lost you there. Are you there? Bob, are you there?
I can hear you.
Okay, go right ahead.
And I think that if you have a cash value policy or an annuity, and if the market's going to go down or interest rates are going to go up, either or both, you really want to be out of there in gold and silver related assets. It's extremely important because you could, lose half of what you have or more.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's so vitally important that people understand that this is uncharted waters for most people, but certainly many of our major insurance companies are insolvent. Most of our major banks are insolvent, and the only reason they passed the stress test is because they were not required to put down an accurate appraisal of their holdings, and they were allowed to make up whatever they thought their assets were worth rather than what they would really bring on the market. And so everything is fraudulent. They do not want people to understand that our banks are insolvent. Many of our insurance policy companies are insolvent. Certainly many of the pension funds are down 30, 40, 50%. They've lost that. They're not going to have the money to pay the pensions. Certainly there's no money in the Social Security fund. There is no money in the Medicare fund. Medicare now is actually paying out more than it's taking in. They're not telling you that. That started just last year. That's why they're so anxious to bring in this new socialized medical system. But of course, they've got to do something with Medicare. They cannot continue paying so much for the care of the elderly, so they're just going to have to have certainly a board that's got to decide which treatments are certainly proper for people depending on their age, and when they get older, why, they're going to die anyway. Just let them die. But they're not going to tell the American people that this is a program certainly for rationed health care. Well, let's go to Rebecca, who's calling us from Santa Cruz. Hi, Rebecca. How are you doing?
Hi. Good evening. God bless you.
Fine. Well, how are you?
I wanted to ask about the situation. It's getting so bad. A lot of people are losing their jobs. People are ending up homeless. Kids are being taken away by CPS because the woman and man can't take care of their child because I saw this on KION Channel 46 where this one lady called in and said her husband lost his job. He couldn't support them anymore. She ended up in a hotel room, and the CPS took the kid away, and the wife was left in the hotel room with the daughter. And so it's getting really bad. And so my question is to your guest there, what's going to happen when it gets so bad? Half of America is going to be unemployed. Are they going to put us in concentration camps? Are they building concentration camps or any kind of camps to house people in? And are they going to be putting us in there or people in there against their will? And do you know anything about these concentration camps? I found out about these when I was homeless about 5 years ago, and somebody on the street, this highly spiritual man I met on the street, was telling me about these things, and I just went, whoa, are you serious?
Well, we have a wonderful talk called The Planned Police State, and we have a syllabus that goes with that tells you all about the concentration camps. They've refurbished all the Japanese concentration camps from the Second World War. And they've done that specifically because we would never want the American people to forget how terrible it was to actually take American citizens and put them in concentration camps. So we're going to refurbish all those old concentration camps. But then they gave the KRB, Kellogg, Brown and Root, $385 million to build new concentration camps. Yes, they're very real. Bob, do you have any thoughts on the concentration camps? They call them detention camps, or camps we can put people into in case of some sort of a major catastrophe. Bob, do you have any thoughts on that from Rebecca?
Yeah, they call them internment camps as well. They're there. Stan's right. He's got all of the information on it. And they're there for you and others who become unemployed and can't fend for themselves, and they'll put you in those camps. And if they have jobs for you, they'll send you someplace to work. If they don't have anything, they'll just have to keep you there indefinitely. But that's where it's all headed.
Oh, that's pretty scary. And this is going to happen in the USA?
It's going to happen all over the world. Rebecca, you have to understand this is a global move. We hear a lot here in America about the fact that the census people are coming to the doors of people's homes and with a little GPS localizer, and they're marking your front door so that they will know the exact coordinates of your home. But it's not just happening in the United States. It's happening in Africa. It's happening in South America. It's happening in China. There is a move towards a world-controlled government under a new world ruler. And these things were all prophesied in the Bible literally thousands of years ago. Anything else, Rebecca?
Oh, no, that's pretty scary. I'm going to go pray now.
Okay, well, you pray because the only thing that's going to get any of us through this is our relationship with the Lord. God bless.
That's right. God bless you.
Okay. My telephone number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, or 464-8295. If you'd like additional information on this, we have a talk on the planned police state and an excellent syllabus that goes with that will give you all the documentation for everything we say. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, every telephone call you make, every email you send, every fax you send is all being recorded by the NSA. And now they do this with computers. They don't, but if there's any question about what you say, the computer, of course, calls their attention to it. It's gone over by a human being. But it's not simply in the United States. It's all throughout the world. We work in concert with the other parts of the Anglo-American establishment, with Great Britain, with Canada, with New Zealand, with Australia. And all of the intelligence agencies are working to monitor all of the calls everywhere in the world. And the reason you haven't heard of this is because they control the media, and they have their people planted in the media to conceal this. And if you doubt that, you need, of course, to get a book written by the former head of the NSA, William Odom, General William Odom, Lieutenant General William Odom, called Fixing Intelligence, where he can't tell you what's going on, but he simply asks, should we, the CIA, have agents planted in the media, journalists planted in the media? It's not imaginary. It's real. And people, of course, working behind the scenes know, but they're threatened with imprisonment if they ever reveal the truth. Well, let's go to George, who's calling from Ontario, Canada. George, do you have a question for our guest?
Yeah, Dr. Stan. Bob, Ron Paul's bill, H.R. 1207, to have the Federal Reserve audited, do you think that that would have an immediate impact on the price of gold? Or what would be the time frame, or what type of things would happen around that scenario?
Well, at 218, they have to take it out of committee, which means that usually, if there's a lot of strength in the bill as to co-sponsors, then it might take 3 or 4 weeks in order to get the whole thing rolling. And I think that will happen. I think there'll be an effort, a lobbying effort, not only for that issue, but also others. And so I expect that it'll probably take a few weeks, maybe could take longer. I mean, these people who are creating this problem, they don't want to give up, the Federal Reserve, so they'll stall it as long as they can. I think it's got a great shot of passing the House, and I've been telling people to try to get a hold of not only the congressmen but also the senators, because the next stop is the Senate if the House passes it. So it's important that you get a hold of senators and tell them, look, letter should read like this: Dear Senator so-and-so, I would like the bill for the investigation of the Fed in the Senate, which is the Senate Sunshine, the Federal Reserve Sunshine